Welcome to the Primitive Camping and Bushcraft podcast. I'm your host, Chris Spear. So here we're going to talk about gear, grit, and the kind of stories you only get around a fire. It's all about learning, adapting, and keeping your faith strong. So whether you're a seasoned outdoorsman or just looking to unplug and reconnect, you're in the right place. So pull up a chair by the fire and let's get into it. Have you ever looked around your gear room and realized that you've got more junk or more tools or more gear than you ever use on a single trip? Or have you packed for a trip and thought, why am I carrying all this stuff? Well, congratulations. That is what today's episode is all about. We are down here at the camp, what the heck, and I got a fire rolling in the foreground, and I did a video on the Pull Start Fire, which is today's sponsor of this podcast, is the Pull Start Fire. And if you haven't used these things are amazing. You just go ahead and put them down. It's kind of like a firework of some sort. And it has a set end and a pull end, and you set one end to something sturdy or firm into the fire or your fire pit or where you want to start your fire. And then the other end you pull, and when it pulls, it pops and it generates a fire. These things will start wet wood on fire. They will start dry wood on fire in a hurry. And these things are amazing. And the guys at Pull Start Fire always ask me, hey, would you like to try out a couple more? And I'm like, yes, please send them here, because I love doing it, especially if you're going camping with kids. They're amazing. If you're trying to start a bonfire, these things will work. And it's not everything is going to be about survival and bushcraft. Sometimes some things are just about the convenience of having something to do something with. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean, leave a comment or leave some kind of something, engagement there. Give me a thumbs up or whatever on the podcasting app. But anyway, so last week I had made plans. I was going to do a whole episode on water today, and I changed gears. And because I went to an army surplus store last week and found a Rothko European Rucksack. And this thing, I got it right here, right next to me. It's pretty neat. It's 32 liters. It has two pockets on the left and the right. It has one pocket on the back side, and then it has an entire pocket on the top. And then it is a bucket style rucksack where you just fill that puppy up, and it has a drawstring, and you're good to go. It has the handles. It has a handle there on the top where you can grab it, pick it up, put it on your knee, fling it around onto your back like you're supposed to. And then it has the draw straps or the carry straps for shoulder straps or whatever you want to call them. Right there. And everything is old latches. It has a zipper. It has two zippers, and then it's got the old style military latches, and it's 100% cotton. It's 100% canvas. It's made in India. It's a pretty good little backpack. But we're going to talk about the journey that I've taken this week with this rucksack, as the fire is smoldering and giving off some smoke and getting rid of all the mosquito bugs. Golly, man, has summer hit in South Mississippi already? It is May, and what's today's episode? May the 19th. You may hear Ranger in the background barking. He has found another turtle dug up into a tree, and believe it or not, out here at camp, what the heck, I just found a mulberry tree. And I've never seen one in my lifetime, 51 years old. And I have never seen a real life mulberry tree. And I found one, and I tried some of the fruit out here today. And let me tell you, that is the most amazing berry I have ever ate. It is sweet. It is extremely sweet and juicy, and the seeds are not as bad as the dewberries or blackberries. Now, the mulberry seeds are real small, real fine, but they're not as what's the word I'm looking for? They're not as robust as the other ones, all the other berries compared to it, like strawberries or raspberries of that such. A mulberry is amazing. I just tried it a while ago for the first time, and it was awesome. And I kept wondering, why does this flock of birds keep landing in this tree and then flying off? Well, it was cedar waxwings, and they fly over there and they eat all the berries, all the ripe ones, and then they fly over and they eat all the ripe ones off the cherry tree. I got wild cherries out here. I got apparently now mulberries. I got possum grape. I got muscadine, whatever you want to call it, blackberries, dewberries, you name it. I got all kinds of stuff. I even got the elderberries growing all over the place behind me and in front of me, and I didn't cut those down when I was building the camp because I want to do some videos and some episodes on making that elderberry cough syrup or swamp syrup or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, let's get back to the actual rucksack. And I spent a lot of time this week working on this bag. And actually spent way too much because I went on a trip a couple weeks ago with Dave. We went kayaking down the Black Creek here in South Mississippi. And the Black Creek Wilderness area is an amazing little place. It is a national treasure. It is a national park, and not really a national park. What's that? A national forest, but it has a wilderness area inside this national forest that it's got a trail where you can hike through it. You can camp in there and stuff. It's a national forest type deal. And I love this place. It is like when you go out into it, it's like there's no trash laying around like in other places. There's no, it's a beautiful national resource, and it is truly the wilderness here in South Mississippi. And I love camping out there. I love hiking out there. I love just boating out there with the kayaks. The river's a little too low for you to take a flat bottom boat or anything that I normally would, but the Vibe kayaks and all that are great for these trips. So we did an overnight trip, and we get out there, and I have a 75 liter. And if you know anything about me, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I use the Amazon Basics hiking backpack. I love this thing for the money. For $100, you get a robust 75 liter, up to 75 liter backpack. I think it's a 65, but then you can convert it it has a little chute that you could pull out and extends it by 10 liters. All right. Now that sounds like a lot, but really when you're going on an extended trip, that can be taken up real quick. And let me explain why. Because once you get into, you start putting tents, or you start putting lay flat hammocks, or you start putting sleep systems and stuff like that inside your bag or on your bag or whatever, it starts taking up a lot of room real fast. It really starts taking up a lot of room. And I've noticed that, I love the Nightcat lay flat hammock. I use the lay flat hammock, and I really like it because, one, you're still in a hammock, but two, it's lay flat. You're up off the ground. Now I have yet in my lifetime been laying up on the ground in the summertime. Well, typically I don't go camping too much in the summertime, but I have yet to be out there and had snakes nestle up to me or snuggle up to me in the middle of the night. I like to be off the ground because of the bugs and stuff like that. And, bugs in Mississippi is a sad reality. It is an expectation out here. You are going to get bugs on you. But, especially out there where we were camping, they had some wolf spiders that were as big as your palm. These things were huge, and they're quick. Man, they run everywhere, and they're going to investigate everything, But once you get into the woods, you start realizing, I don't need this much gear. Once you get out there into the woods, you start realizing, hey, my backpack is too big. I don't need a pack that carries all this stuff, especially if you're going on an overnight trip. And the majority of my stuff is 1-2 days. At this point in my life, I have time for, Monday, Tuesday, and I got to be home on Wednesday. So I got those 2 days in the week that I go and do. That's when I do all my filming. That's when I do all my recording. And Wednesday I spend all day usually editing. Thursday is reserved for the grandbaby, Thursday and Fridays. Then Saturday and Sunday, I spend with my family, my wife, and, I go to church and spend time with my church family. So that's it. My weeks are jam full and jam packed. And so, Monday and Tuesday is really all the time I got to go camping. Now, of course, during hunting season, I make time to go on extended trips and stuff like that. But for the most part, throughout the year, I am typically an overnighter, 2-nighter guy. And, just because of scheduling purposes, it's not to say I have done my 10, 8, 10, 12 day backpacking trips. I've done 10-day survival trips, stuff like that. And I've built a bunch of experience off of these trips that I have taken in my past that, now I don't have to prove anything to anyone or in myself because I know I can do it and I've done it. So I started off with this 75 liter hiking pack from Amazon. It's an Amazon Basics. And I'm going to try to remember to leave the links in the description. All right. So, but anyway, this thing is on my site. It's on my link page. It's links at spiritOutdoors.com. It's on there. It is in my affiliate gear and stuff like that. So, or it's on my Amazon page for sure. Spirit Outdoors. So I got this backpack, and the reason I got it is because, when I first started, I was a real big tightwad, and I like many other people, I don't have the money to go spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on gear, and that's not the point in going and enjoying yourself is spending exuberant amounts of money on gear. You don't have to do that in order to enjoy yourself. You don't have to do that to have a good time, and that's what I've been trying to convey with the whole Primitive Camping and Bushcraft book. Now, I got this backpack, and I used it, and it works wonders. It does great. Is it the best bag out there? Absolutely not. It's only $100, but for $100, you get your money's worth out of this pack. And so from there, I purchased the Pathfinder Scout Pack. It's a 35 liter bag. I kind of downsized a little bit, and I like it. It is the bucket style backpack. It's got a flip lid and, all that stuff, and compression straps and all that good stuff. But, it is a good bag. It's a good sack. But I found this Rothko canvas rucksack. It's the European rucksack. And dude, let me tell you, this thing is pretty much the only drawback to this bag that I have found so far is the waterproofing. It is not waterproof, not water resistant or anything like that. It's 100% cotton, so it's going to suck up any kind of water it comes in contact with, and it's going to soak through. Now, that's not to say you cannot waterproof this thing, and we're going to attempt that. This bag was $30, $32, and for the price, this 32 liter bag is amazing. And I'm not trying to sell it to you. I'm just trying to tell you that I found a bag that works for me, and I am going to spend the rest of this episode telling you why. So here's where I started. I started off with the 75 liter backpack, then I moved down to the Pathfinder, and then now I found the Rothko canvas rucksack. It's solid bags, but I was throwing too much stuff in these things. And, I was throwing skillets in there. I was throwing percolators, pots I might use, several knives, blah, 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 different variations of sleeping gear and all this stuff that when I get out there, I wasn't going out there on purpose with one thing in mind. I was going out there with maybe I could use this, maybe I couldn't. And being a content creator and you're filming videos of the such, and a lot of times you're going out there on purpose, and I was not doing that. I was going out there with things in mind, but I wasn't fulfilling everything that I went out there with. So I was weighing my gear bag down. I was weighing my bag down with excess stuff that was irrelevant for what I was going for. So I did this week. And it's taken me, 13, 14 plus years to finally do this. I laid everything out on the floor and I asked one question. What will I actually use? What is going to earn its weight? That question, I pondered on it a lot this week, and I looked at everything that I had. In the book, I have all the gear laid out on that thing. All that gear fits in one bag, but all that gear is redundant, and it was to demonstrate what you could bring with you. So when you see it pictured in the book, that is not my recommendation of what to bring. It's what you could bring. There's multiple systems, different water filtration systems, different sleeping systems, different, cutting systems, stuff like that in there. So it was giving you an idea of what to bring, but all that stuff fit in a 75-liter bag. But here's the deal. I finally laid it all out and said what actually earns its weight. So the answer was not much. Not much. That is what earned its weight inside my bag this time. So what I did is I built 3 different bags. All right, listen to me. I have so many pots. I have so many sleep systems. I have so many hammocks. I have so many tents. I've got stuff over the past 7-8 years that people have sent me to do videos on, on gear and stuff like that. I don't get paid to do videos. I get gear to do videos. They send me the gear. I film a video, put it on my thing. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. If I like it, I'll post it. If I don't like it, I won't post it. And there are so many gear videos that I have not filmed and posted because, I'm not going to sit there and recommend something to you guys, any of my following on any of my platforms, if it does not work. I'm not going to recommend it. It's just like the pull start fire. It seems like a gimmick. Yes, it does. It's great for the kids. It's great for the outdoors. It's great, but it does work. It is handy. It has its purpose. It will work in any kind of situation that you need. You need to light a barbecue pit. There you go. Pull start fire. You need to light a bonfire for 4th of July or for, the winter time or whatever. There you go. Pull start fire. Dude, a pull start fire is a good product. And so that's why I don't mind recommending. I really don't mind recommending it, and I will recommend it. So I got one bag that it's the Rothko. I got it down to between 23 and 25 pounds, depending on the food that I bring. And there's Ranger digging for his turtle again. I can hear him barking. So anyway, Rothko, I got the Rothko bag down to 23 to 25 pounds, depending on the food. And it is stripped down. It is ready to go, and it is extremely lightweight and ready. All right. Now, I got one for sleeping on the ground. I got the same idea, but a different sleep system inside it. And I use the Pathfinder Scout because it is a 35-liter bag. So I got the same kind of thing, but I got it geared up for sleeping on the ground. Now, don't worry. Some of the things in the Rothko is going to be interchanged, like, the water filtration system. I'm going to be moving over my Grille Geopress to that. It goes with me everywhere I go in the outdoors. And so the Grille Geopress is the premier. It is my way to filter water. And I also carry my membrane solution water filtration system with me as well. But when you start getting into weight is where you start adding pots and pans and, heavy items like that. So now I got one made with the Rothko. I got one with the Pathfinder, and that is used for sleeping on the ground. The Rothko has a hammock in there. Now I have the big one. And the big one is going to have my Nightcat lay flat hammock, and it is a heavy bag. The bag itself is like 10 pounds. All right. So the bag itself with the hammock in it is like 10 pounds. And so this is a heavy bag or a heavy sleep system. Trying to explain that just blew my mind. But anyway, the Nightcat is heavy, but it is awesome. It is the best sleep I've had. And what I really like about the Nightcat is that though it is a lay flat hammock, it is also a ground tent. You can use it on a one-person tent. You can lay it on a cot and sleep on it on a cot. You can lay it on the ground as a tent. You can hang it up as a hammock, and it is so versatile. And I'll take that for longer stays. And that's usually going to be if I'm going on the river with a boat. Now I'm taking the boat and we're going down on the river, or we're going somewhere where we have some kind of transportation or conveyance to bring us to where we need to go. That is going to go with me. And during the wintertime, typically I use a boat to get to where I'm going, and I will camp within 150, 200 yards from where I park my boat, and, off grid out there in the middle of nowhere. So that 75, that's the difference between the 3 packs. Other than that, the items are pretty much going to be the same. I have the same kind of pots, redundant pans. I've got a huge swath of pots and pans. I have a massive collection of pots and pans for camping. It's ridiculous how much money and how much gear I've spent on that. So we're going to get to what stayed and what got cut. All right. So here's what stayed. In my bag right now as it sits, the Rothko, I have the Pathfinder Bushpot and nesting cup. It is because they do the job. These, I have yet to find Bushpots that work as hard as these do. I have found several of them. They're expensive, and I haven't pulled the trigger. But for $100, you can get the entire thing. You can get a Bushpot that holds a gallon of water. You can get a 2-quart, and then you can get a 27-ounce Bushpot or nesting cup. And then inside that, you get a 10-inch skillet, and then you get a grill, and that's the whole Woodland Chef series. So that is worth the money. That is worth the money. So I purchased that. I got the Pathfinder Bushpot set with the nesting cup because they do the job. The Grille water filter is fast and reliable. That thing is going with me everywhere I go. It is going to go in my bag. I'm going to bring one good knife. I'm going to bring a Laplander, Baco Laplander folding saw. And then I got a ferro rod based, the all-weather fire starter. And so this thing's a ferro rod magnesium block, and it will start fires in whatever environment. All right. So what got cut? The heavy lay flat hammock got taken out of this. The propane stove and bottle. I did have that in there just because I was doing videos on this. And so, it was redundant. It was not needed. You don't need a propane stove and then pots and pans and then a grill and then all this other stuff. So let's talk about what is in my bag right now. So right now, the Rothko bag, I have a $7 hiking grill. All right. Hear me out. These grills are amazing. Do you need one? No, not all the time. Is it weight? Not too much. I think this thing weighs about 3 ounces tops. Now, here's the thing about this grill is that it is big enough to cook on. You don't have to cut down any other trees to make pot cranes or anything like that. And you can, but you don't have to. And it is great to cook on. I mean, I just used one in a camping trip, and buddy, let me tell you, it changes a lot of things because you can rake your coals out up underneath it, put your meat on top of it, or do whatever you're cooking, put your pot on there, and so it is worth it. So that's what I took with me on this one. Then I got the East Hills Outdoors Jungle Explorer tent system, or hammock system. Now, this is a double hammock because I like my room. I can't stand claustrophobic anything. I do suffer from claustrophobia, panic attacks. So it will put me in a panic attack real quick. So I do have the East Hill Outdoors It has Jungle Explorer, and it has the bug net to it, and it is a robust hammock. And I used it in several of the videos. I've used it in several photographs in the book, and that is an awesome hammock system. I have a double D 3x3 tarp in there, and then I have, after that, that's my sleeping system. That's my shelter. I have 100 feet of paracord. I have a Lucy empowered lantern, solar lantern. All right. Now, I can't explain to you the value of a 3-ounce solar lantern. It's very comforting to have at night, where you can light up your camp, where you don't have to burn the batteries in your flashlight. And this thing recharges in the sun. All right. And it weighs only 3 ounces. So, from that, I have the Baco Laplander folding saw. I have the Bushcraft BPS knife. I have the all-weather fire starter. And let me pull this over. I have my Cold Steel Special Forces shovel. And the reason why I take that instead of a hatchet is because that shovel has sharpened edges around it to where you can actually cut with it. You can dig with it. And it is a great tool. And I'm going to be doing plenty of videos with that thing. And I've used it for years. I've had it for several years, and I've used it. It's never let me down. And a lot of times I'll just take it, throw it, and it'll stay in the bottom of the boat or on the four-wheeler or whatever till I get to where I'm going. So what I'm doing now is I am literally undoing the straps of this thing because I forgot everything that I put in it. And I typically do that because I don't know why I have so much stuff going on my mind. All right, so inside this pack, we've already discussed what kind of sleep system I have. And now I got my food. Inside my food bag, I have a can of roast beef. Or can of beef, it's roast beef, and it's fully chunked, fully cooked roast beef. I have a can of Spam. I have 4 packs of grits. I have, let me open it up. I have 2 packs of the ready to eat pasta, the rotini pasta or whatever it's called. Penne pasta, I am sorry. And then I have the Primitive Camping and Bushcraft blend coffee, and I have a couple of packs of let's see, this stuff I made is like gravy, and it is my own recipe of freeze-dried beef stroganoff. It has some beef gravy in it, or some brown gravy in it. It has some freeze-dried mushrooms in there. It has some sour cream powder in there, and then it has some freeze-dried beef in there, and I cook that up, and I mix it in with the can of roast beef, and then I pour it over them noodles. And so I have 2 things. I love snack foods whenever I'm out camping, and so I got 2 packages of right here. There you go. I got 2 packages of corn nuts, the ranch flavored corn nuts. And those things are awesome. And they give you something to chew on, and they satisfy that snack. All right. Then I got my Pathfinder skillet. And I got the Pathfinder skillet. I got the Pathfinder 2-quart pot, and then the 27-ounce cup. Now, after that, I have my Lockbee tool roll. It's my Lockbee tool roll, and that has like all my spoons and seasonings and everything for cooking. All right. Now, that's everything that's inside that bag. Now, we'll move to the top compartment. Now, on the top compartment up here, that's where I have the Lucy empowered lantern, the solar lantern. I have a 1-gallon dirty water bag. All right. Now, this is the reason I have this. It's folded up, and it don't weigh anything, but it allows me to carry around bulk dirty water. Now, on my Grille Geopress, I have a millbank bag. I purchased a millbank bag from Campcraft Outdoors that is for the Geopress. It fits, nests around the Geopress. I held it all together with a carabiner, and then that thing stays with it, and it extends the life of all your filters and everything. So whenever I collect my dirty water, I will use the millbank bag to fill this 1 gallon jug up. And then from there, I got a pair of leather gloves. I have a fire kit. I have a map and compass. And let's see here, Chris, what you got? Oh, Blackbeard fire plugs. And that's it. That is all that is in my pack. And the pack weighs between 23 and 25 pounds. And that is everything that is in the bag. And it is extremely lightweight. It is very movable. Is portable, and you could carry it long distances without your back really giving out. Now, I've carried 40 pounds over 5 miles and thought I was going to die by the time I got to the 5th mile, but 25 pounds, 23 pounds is not that bad. So, this downsizing this thing has really reminded me that Jesus said in Matthew 6, verses 19 through 21, he said, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourself treasures in heaven, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." Now, I think gear can become a treasure. I think that we can start storing this gear up and looking like, oh, I need this. Oh, I need that. Oh, I need this. So don't get me wrong. Tools matter. I mean, in your backpack and everything that you do outdoors, your tools really do matter. But when they take the place of trust, or when our identity gets wrapped up in how we bushcraft or how we look, we've traded the eternal for the earthly. We stored our treasures up here instead of storing our treasures up in heaven. So I trimmed the fat. I trimmed the fat in my gear. I trimmed the fat in my heart. And I want to be the kind of man that packs light because his real weight is being carried by Jesus. So I got a challenge for this week. So here's my challenge to you. Lay your gear out. Lay all of it out. Lay all your gear out and ask, what do I actually need? What do I actually need to pack in my backpack? And do the same thing with your heart. What are you carrying around that's just weight? What are you carrying with you that you really don't need to be carrying? And let it go. Start packing lighter. Store your treasures up in heaven. Start packing lighter. If this episode helped you out, please let me know. And if you want a breakdown of what the actual gear that I have in each one of my packs, just let me know. I just went over all the gear that is outlined in the Rothko 32-liter canvas rucksack, but I'll post everything on my site, on Facebook. I'll post it in the Primitive Camping and Bushcraft Facebook group. And if you really want to know all the gear that I carry with me, just let me know. If you have ideas, just spit them out. Don't chew on them. All right. So until next time, keep your boots dirty and keep your Bible open, In all your ways, acknowledge Him. And I'll see you in the next podcast. God bless you. Thanks for sitting around the fire with me today. If this episode gave you something to think about, if it helped you feel a little bit more prepared, or it even stirred your faith a tiny bit, go ahead and share it with someone else who might need it as well. We don't go camping to run away from life. We come out here to slow down and to recharge. So grab another log, throw it on the fire, and remember this. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. I'll see you next time. God bless you.